I feel like those old elementary school math problems were written specifically about me. If Bree buys 50 watermelon from the Amish produce auction, she eats 4 of them, she sells 12 of them, she freeze dries 3 of them, and she makes watermelon lemonade concentrate out of 3 of them. How many does she have left to make watermelon jelly? I just couldn't help it when they started the bidding on those watermelons at 50 cents and nobody else was bidding. My hand just flew up without my brain even thinking about it, about how I was going to get home 50 watermelon or what I was going to do with them. But nobody bid against me, and so $25 later, I have a mountain of watermelon to deal with. And so that brings us to today's project, a triple batch of watermelon lemonade concentrate. I'm basically jarring up summer to bring a little bit of freshness to our winter drinks. Like I said, I tripled this batch, so I used 3 medium watermelons. You need 6 cups of watermelon for each batch. So the first step was to just get them cut up and take out all the seeds. This was a little bit time consuming, but not a hard job at all. And don't stress if you miss a few. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? A watermelon growing in your belly, right? That's what my kids think anyways. But actually do save those seeds. We're going to talk about how to prep them for planting later on. I found the best way to get the seeds out of these was to take a slice like this and then break off each side, and it naturally breaks where the huge amount of seeds are, and then you can easily just scrape those out and dig a few out with your fingers, and you do that on both sides, and then you're left with a middle chunk that has hardly any seeds. Once you have all of your watermelon ready to go, you're going to put it into a big stock pot, and for each batch, it's going to get 6 cups of watermelon, 4 cups of lemon juice, and 6 cups of sugar. And yes, I know that that sounds like a lot of sugar. It is a lot of sugar, but I want you to remember that this is not an everyday drink. It's a treat. And while there is sugar, there's not any artificial dyes. There's no artificial flavors. There's no junk added in. It's simple, real ingredients. So I would definitely argue that it is better for you than Kool-Aid or Capri Sun or juice or anything like that. And watermelon actually brings a lot to the table nutrition-wise. It's really rich in lycopene, which is an antioxidant that helps lower cancer risk and disease fighting. Plus it is loaded with vitamin C, vitamin A, B6, and potassium and magnesium. So you might even be able to consider this a little bit of a healthy treat if you can stretch your imagination just a bit. If you have chickens, make sure and save your scraps for them, because if they are anything like mine, they think it is the perfect treat. If you don't have chickens or know someone who does, then I have seen watermelon rind pickles and watermelon rind candy that may also be really good to experiment with. I use an immersion blender to break down the watermelon, but you could definitely just use a potato masher and a little bit of muscle. Because I use the immersion blender though, my liquid did create a foam that I had to skim off, so just keep that in mind. If you use a potato masher, I don't think that would happen. You are going to heat this mixture in your pot until it is warm and the sugar's dissolved, but you do not want it to boil. We are not making syrup here, so keep it around 190 degrees. Once your watermelon lemonade concentrate is warmed and that sugar is all dissolved, it is time to get those jarred up. I am going with quart jars, and I am going to process these in a water bath canner for 15 minutes. You may notice that I'm not using actual canning jars, and that's because when I do a recipe like this that does not have to be pressure canned, I like to do some reusing of jars. So any mayonnaise jars or spaghetti sauce jars or salsa jars, I get these from friends and family. I've picked them up at garage sales or at thrift stores. You can usually find them free or very inexpensively. And so when you're not pressure canning, these are definitely the way to go, in my opinion anyways. If you're a canner, I think that you're gonna get my excitement, but look how beautiful the color of this watermelon concentrate is turning out. It is gonna look so pretty on my shelves, sitting with all of the other things. A lot of things that I can are usually like deep dark reds and deep dark greens, with the tomato sauces and the green beans and the meats. So this beautiful bright pop of color is gonna look so pretty in contrast to those. Like anything that you are canning, these are going to get a new lid, and a clean ring is going to go on fingertip tight before they go into your boiling water canner. Now, it is important to point out that I'm putting these in my canner before the water is boiling. And the reason that I'm doing that is you want to match temperature of your jar to your water in your canner. And so I didn't have boiling watermelon lemonade concentrate, so I'm not going to have boiling water in my water bath canner. I'm going to let them come up to boiling together. So that also means that when I put the lid on and the jars are in there, I'm not starting that timer right away. I'm not going to start my 15-minute timer until my water is at a rolling boil. I have just enough left in my pot to make myself a little glass. The recipe for this watermelon lemonade concentrate said to use 1 part of the concentrate to 1 part water, but for me that was a little bit too strong. I found that 2 parts water to 1 part of the concentrate and several cubes of ice was absolutely perfect. This was such a delicious drink, and I sipped on it while I went and picked my kiddos up from school. They all had it too and loved it as well.
That is really good.
I don't know what variety these watermelons are. I don't know if they're a hybrid or if they're an heirloom, but I am going to go ahead and save some seeds and plant them in my garden because I bought these at an Amish produce auction, and the field was right by the auction house and it's not far from my house, so I know that they grow well in my area. To save seeds from a watermelon, all you do is put your seeds in a glass of water and you're going to let it sit on your countertop for 24 to 48 hours and ferment, and the good viable dense seeds are going to soak to the bottom, and the non-viable seeds and all of the watermelon debris are going to go to the top. You'll rinse those off 24 to 48 hours later and then spread the seeds on a single layer on a paper towel and let them dry, and then store them to plant next year. I hope you enjoyed this video because I always love sharing with you, and I have watermelon jelly coming up next to share with you soon. If you did like this video, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a like, hype it up, leave me a comment below, and share this video with someone who you would love to have a glass of watermelon lemonade with. Until I see you guys next time, may God bless.